so today we are going to make pumpkin pie. I'm really excited about this recipe. I made everything from scratch. Instead of using the canned pumpkin puree, I actually bought the actual pumpkin. I cut them, I deseed them, remove the seeds, then I cut them into pieces, then I peeled them and steamed them and puree them to make the pumpkin filling. Yes, I did all that work. I know there are some steps to making this pumpkin pie, but it's all worth it. It's all worth your time because you're gonna get a great result when you make everything homemade. Now for the crust, when you're rolling the dough, you probably will see cracks on the side. Don't worry about it. It can be easily fixed. You just have to kind of tap them and put them together and then gently drape the crust into your pie dish, and then the sides you're gonna see cracks again, and it could easily be fixed. You can smooth it and with no problem. So I'm gonna show you step by step in this video of how I done everything. I also use coconut cream versus to heavy cream, but you can certainly use heavy cream, and I use light brown sugar versus to white sugar, and the filling turns out really nice and light versus to heavy and sweet. It has this sweetness, but it's very light, so it's nice combination with that crusty crust and that flaky, really nice crust, and then the smoothness of the pumpkin pie filling. So let's start making our pumpkin pie. I couldn't really find a pumpkin that's just enough for this recipe, so I picked this medium-sized pumpkin, and what I've done here is I cut it in half and I remove all the seeds. I use a spoon to scoop out the seeds until it's all cleaned, and then I cut it into pieces, and then I use a vegetable peeler to peel the pumpkin, and then I cut it again into smaller pieces before I steam them. So I didn't steam all of them, just enough for me to use for my filling. Now let's prep the pie dough. So for the pie dough, we have the flour, cold butter, some sugar, a pinch of salt, and then we're gonna pulse the food processor. And then we're gonna add water and apple cider vinegar a little at a time. Here you'll see that the dough is crumbly. It's okay, it's gonna come together. So you just work it until it's come together, and then you're gonna form it into a ball, and then you're gonna wrap it in a plastic wrap and chill it for about 2 hours or overnight. And now we're ready to roll our pie dough. Now flour the surface and then keep rolling the dough. Now it's gonna be hard because we just chill them. Now what you're gonna do here is as you work it, it gets a little softer. So you just keep rolling it and you turn it as you roll, so it has that nice shape when you're ready to drape it over into your pie dish. But did you see the cracks around? You just kind of pinch and pat it until it gets smooth. So make sure that you smooth that around that pie dough. And now we're gonna drape it over into our pie dish. At this point, you preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, once you drape it, you make sure that you pat it and there's no air bubbles, and the overhang, you're gonna cut it with your scissors, and then you're gonna tuck the dough around inside that pie dish, and then we're gonna start crimping it. Now, crimping is just using your fingers to push them in and out to make that little ruffles around, so it looks really nice. But we still have to chill this before we blind bake it or par bake it. We have to chill it for another 30 minutes. But before we do that, we're going to use a fork to prick the bottom so that when you bake it, it doesn't plump up. So for the meantime, let's prep our filling. So here's the pumpkin that's been steamed, and then we're gonna add our eggs, our sugar, and there's cornstarch and spices. And then before we do that, the pie crust that we've been chilling, we're gonna line it with parchment paper, and then we're gonna put rice over it or beans, and then we're gonna bake it for 10 minutes. And here's the pie filling, and then we're gonna run the blender until it's smooth, and then we just set it aside. And now our pie crust is out of the oven. Then we brush it with egg wash just to make sure that we get that really nice golden brown. And then we put it back in the oven and we bake it for another 5 minutes. And then once it's out of the oven, we pour about 2 cups of that pie filling into that crust. And then you're going to lower the heat of your oven to 350 degrees. And then you bake it for about 50-60 minutes or until it's not jiggly anymore. And there you go, that's your homemade pumpkin pie. For more recipes, please visit me at leanbellaskitchen.com. For this one, just click the link below. Thank you and bye for now.